More summertime practice ideas. I think a lot of times it's important to know the difference between structure that doesn't get anything done and structure that does get something done. And free time that doesn't get anything done, and free time where something can get done. And this all depends on what you think is doing something and getting something done. So it depends on goals a lot of times. So I realized the last tape that I made, for some people might be great, and other people, they might be going, but what do I do? But what do I do? So to help that aspect along a little bit, let's talk about a couple of different ways that the summer can be approached, with you still having time to do other things if that's what you're inclined. I remember there was a summer where my brother and I were, he was visiting in Boston. This is before I got in the BSO. And I rented this little place separate from my apartment so we could start practicing at 6:30 a.m. And we basically made a commitment for the time he was there, and I continued it for the most part after he left, and he did too, that I was just going to start practicing at 6:30 for a couple hours, take a break for an hour, hour and a half, go back and practice another couple, then we'd have lunch, then we'd go practice another couple, take another couple hour break, then we'd go back and practice another couple hours. I mean, in that 12-hour period, we probably did 8. Was it all useful? It felt like it. You know, we were trying to pace it out, so by the end of our time, we actually felt stronger physically. So having that kind of structure, you learn something about your ability to plan according to what you can tolerate mentally, emotionally, and of course physically. We just wanted to play all day long, so we were fine. We didn't have a problem doing that. But you can do the same thing in a different kind of way. You can practice in the morning, do your basic routine. Maybe it takes an hour, whatever that is to you, an hour, hour and a half. Then come back in the afternoon and do a warm-up again, a little bit of one. Just don't take it for granted. I know everyone's different. Yes, I know I could pick up my horn and start playing without warming up too, especially if I'd already played earlier in the day. But sometimes it's considerate of your mind and your body to let yourself even get into it a little bit, especially if mentally you've been really somewhere else. But this is something that's personal. It always helped me to do that. It could only be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just 5 minutes, getting some things going, kind of getting yourself back in. And then maybe you want to practice a solo. And then after the solo, give yourself a little break. You know, if you practice it for half hour, 40 minutes, take a 20-minute break. And if you're feeling up to it, maybe do some low-range studies. Take some of the Arbans, the Bona exercises, and of course some of the Bordonis, and read them down an octave, or tenor clef down an octave, or down 2 octaves if you want to do that, to get things happening in another extended type of way, in a dynamic that you feel you can actually do. Then you might feel ready to, who knows, practice some volume extenders. Really, really soft, really, really loud. But always have in mind to be ready for these extended type of exercises. And you might feel, you know what? To do the really loud ones, I have to work my way up to feeling good with a mezzo forte plus, going into what I would consider a forte, going into what I would consider feeling a double forte or a triple forte or a quadruple forte. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to think about dynamics without some musical content, it'll mostly be physical. And that's where things can get funny. Unless you're really being aware that I need to have this supported with my mind and the direction where I want my sound to go, whether it's really soft and inward, or whether it's really outward and strong and projected, or whether it's just really a wide circumference of sound. So I did a lot of time in the summertime on the farm, and I've talked about this before, playing outside. And doing all sorts of projecting my mind in different locations and having my sound go there, whether it's way above me and back of me, in front of me, on the sides of myself, or below. And I would do it incrementally. And you do this kind of thing every other day. Maybe the real loud stuff you just need to do 3 times a week. It depends on your physiology. Or maybe even once a day if it's not very long. Now, I can't say to someone, we'll do 5 minutes of this and then 10 minutes of that and then a half hour of this. This is something I believe with people who are truly interested, they will discover. Now, if someone said, well, I was doing this and I was doing that, and they sent me an email or a comment, and they said, okay, I tried this and this, but this symptom happened, I could help you. Because you will have done something yourself. And so in this discovery process for the summer, for example, if you really do it right, you'll discover where you're weak. You'll discover where you're strong. You'll discover what makes you weak, what makes you strong, some of it. Always remember, why not once or twice a week get together with some other people and play? And just don't whap through stuff. Yes, if you want to, sometimes you got to just whap through stuff. Just to have fun. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you might want to say, hey, let's get together and get into this. Now there's where a can of beans can really open up, or cans of worms, or whatever. And people start forgetting about the music because they want to be so good. And this is where you can start thinking, oh, we want better intonation. And ask yourselves the question, what am I thinking about? What are we as a group thinking about? And discover that. And find a common tuning point in the piece. And you will be surprised that even your basic sonic pitch will get better. The tone will change. There'll be more unification. This is something for you to discover. You might say, you know what? I just feel like playing legato this week. Go ahead. Maybe you're the kind of person where if you do an hour of Bordonis every day, almost everything else feels good. So do your warm-up, do an hour of Bordonis down an octave or as written, or go back and forth. Take a few hours off, come back, play a few to get you going again, or one if you need to, and some different registers, and then take out some articulation. Practicing high range, extreme high range. Well, just practicing your high range so you feel, let's say you can only go up to a high C or D, and you really have a goal at the end of the summer that you want to hit a high F. Gradual, gradual, gradual. Consistent, consistent, consistent. Because one of the key things in doing something gradual is that you are regular and consistent. Otherwise, you will have big gaps in the gradual, and it won't be gradual anymore because there won't be gradually any connection linking one thing to the next. Say, well, you did that a few weeks ago, and now you're going to do it again. That won't get you anywhere. So, summer, a lot of summer songs, you know, there's a lot of oldies summer songs. And they usually talk about, you know, it's going to be a long, lonely summer. Because the boyfriend and the girlfriend or the two partners are going to be not together. In fact, there's even one called See You in September. But be careful. A lot of goofy stuff can happen under the summer moon. But on a practical level of wanting to develop as a musician, there's a lot of lures. Slur. I was thinking of slur, so I said lure. Lures. And people find themselves, wow, a week went by and I was just in the boat all summer. Or, you know, a month goes by and not as much time on the horn as they'd like. A great mentor of mine said, there's one-time days. Use them wisely. I always wanted to see how much better as a musician and as a player I was by September. I'd have different goals. Short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. You might say, by the end of this week, I want to be able to play this particular top tone for the trumpeter at this particular tempo marking. Not necessarily the one in the book. They get pretty fast. You might want to go and you might, your summer might be based on 2 or 3 etudes that change. Okay, I'm doing this kind, and then the next week I'm going to do another set of 3, and then the next week I'm going to do this movement of a solo, and this particular etude, and 3 excerpts. And then change that. But it's consistent. And on top of that, work on your specialized things. Maybe you need work on the ends of your notes. Maybe you need work on legato, not just tenuto. Legato. I don't know. I'll let you discover what you need.